thank you for watching this new video. I decided to title this Common Questions. Right now I'm surfing through my notes because I do have a bunch of stuff that I like to talk about. Lately, we have had a bunch of things that I see always that people talk about. And also, I like to answer some questions about my motorcycle. So I like to debunk some myths, and hopefully we can figure it out what it is or what does it mean to be a motorcycle rider, a biker, or a weekend warrior. So let's dig into this, shall we? Also, by the way, I am going to be posting pictures. My wife decided to do a photo shoot of my motorcycle and me. So I think those pictures look amazing, by the way. So I decided that it was going to be an injustice not to show them around, especially since I love my wife so much and I think she's an amazing photographer. So hope you like them. Stay tuned. Anyway, so the first thing I want to address is that everybody asks me, hey, have you done anything to your suspension on your bike? Well, not really. I mean, ultimately, you can always try to adjust the suspension here and there. But truth be told is, the roads that I ride here in Florida are very, very flat. So it's very, very rare that you encounter a slope or a bump on the road or something deep enough that it will make your suspension go all the way down. So a slight adjustment seemed to have fixed my problem, and this is at least in my case. So I just didn't justify spending $400 to $1,300 for a new suspension, at least a back suspension, for something that I rarely am ever going to use. So that's my take on it. Now, if you live somewhere where there are many slopes, the roads are not very good, or whatever the case may be, and just adjusting it doesn't cut it for you, by all means, get yourself a new suspension. The best thing you can do is to get some for your bike that is going to make it ride better and make you feel better when riding it. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the things that I changed in my bike, because I don't think I've mentioned all of them in my past videos. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that I do have a solo saddle in my bike. That saddle is a Mustang saddle. I got it really, really shortly after I purchased a motorcycle, because yes, Indian seats, original seats, suck. And as much as I love the Indian brand, I am not an Indian fanboy, so I can tell the truth and not care about it. Ultimately, their seats suck. So my choice was whether to get that seat, open it up, put some sort of gel or something inside to try to make it more comfortable and resew it, which I didn't care for it, or get that seat that I like so much and that I fell in love with from the moment I saw it and just enjoy it. And that's what I did. Now, I'm going to address all this, something about this, after I finish talking about, the parts and some other stuff that I think is going to be really, really interesting. Also, I wanted to bring up the fact that the Scout is a very light bike. So if you're a heavy guy, again, going back to the suspension, you may need a better suspension. Now, if you're somewhat lean or, athletic, much like I am, it's up to you what you feel comfortable with. Now, let's talk about some controversial stuff. First of all, maintenance. Your motorcycle is like any car, any, four-wheeler, boat, jet ski, everything requires maintenance. Now, nobody's going to think any less of you if you bring it to a dealership to do the maintenance or if you do the maintenance yourself, as long as you do the maintenance. Otherwise, it's going to break. Regardless, it's just going to break. Regardless of the fact that every single thing man-made is not perfect and therefore eventually is going to break, but if you take care of it, it'll last longer. Which, that brings me to our second point here, which is, how much do you value your bike? I mean, I always see people read comments, and sometimes I don't really understand, because many people spend so much money, whether on the motorcycle, whether on parts, whether on paint jobs, whether on, mostly aesthetic stuff. Of course, some of the improvements they do, they better engine power, fuel mileage, etc. But ultimately, most of those people, they do take care of their bikes. However, we always have the ones that they expend a good chunk of cash on their bikes, and then they can't bother to read the manual, and you find out questions that are like, dude, if you do like 2 minutes of research, because don't get me wrong, I understand that not everybody will carry around their little booklet manual. However, if you go to the Indian dealership, the Indian website, the website has the manuals there. You can access them there. If you have an error code, you can figure it out what it is. It should be the last resort after you've done your research that you can't find it, that you go and you ask around. Mainly because you should take pride of yourself as a rider, not necessarily as a biker, weekend warrior. No, you take some pride and try to figure it out yourself out what the problem is. And then if you can't find the issue, then at that point you go ahead and you try to reach out. Do your homework. Try to be proactive. I, for instance, like to do my own oil changes. I like to do my own maintenance. I like to, do my own stuff. It is my last resort to bring it somewhere, mainly because I like the fun of it. I don't like to waste the money. And if anything happens, I know what I did last. I know how I did it. And if I never ended up getting an error code, never ended up having a dead battery or anything like that. But that is because, for starters, I am a motorcycle rider, but at the same time, I am also a biker. Why do I consider myself a biker? Not because I follow some silly code. No, I consider myself a biker because my main means of transportation is my motorcycle. I ride my bike every day if I can, wherever I go. The only time that I wouldn't ride my bike is if I have to drive with someone else, like more people than I can fit on my bike, or children, for that matter. Also, the fact that my bike is a solo bike. I don't want to give anyone a ride. That's why I got that. There are reasons for it. Now, I'm not judging anyone. I'm okay with weekend warriors. I'm okay with motorcycle riders. I'm okay with bikers. I don't judge anybody. You just got to be conscious as to how do you categorize yourself. Meaning, obviously, you're not going to have the same standard if you drive your car every day and then one day out of the week you ride your motorcycle versus somebody that rides their motorcycle every day. I'm sorry, it's not the same thing. It's the same thing as if you do a certain job every day versus somebody that does it one day out of the week. I'm sorry, you're going to have more experience than that other person. You are going to have more hours invested than someone else. So the category is not the same, no matter how you want to put it. It's just not. And it wouldn't be fair for it to be the same. I mean, let's be honest. Nobody wants to take their work, their the hours that we put into that away or looked at as if you're exactly the same as a weekend warrior. Sorry, but no. Now, there's nothing wrong about being a weekend warrior. At least none of my eyes. Weekend warriors are great. I mean, they keep the industry moving. They are the ones that they are riding always on the new looking like bike because they barely use it. It's always shiny and it's always like as if they bought it yesterday. They ride maybe an hour or two or maybe a whole day throughout the weekend, maybe 2 days out of the weekend, and that's it. Or they park their bike in the garage for, I don't know, a good 4 to 8 months, I guess, and then they ride maybe, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, maybe twice a week, maybe 4 times a week, and that's it. I mean, everybody's important when it comes to the biker industry. However, you're not in the same category that somebody that rides all year round, regardless of how cold it is or if it rains or not, or that's just the main truth. That's just a fact. We are all we are all motorcycle riders, I should say. Everybody is equal in my eyes. However, the folks that ride every day, those are bikers. I'm sorry, but that's the case. Now, the last issue I want to talk about is a very, very controversial issue. And it comes up to motorcycle gear. And you always have those people that try to tell someone else like what they should or shouldn't wear when riding a bike. You have those guys, much like me, that if we're riding around, not going too far, I'm just gonna wear my t-shirt, my jeans, boots, and that's it. Maybe the eyeglasses, always eyeglasses. Eye protection every time, at least I do it. And I believe it's illegal to ride without eye protection at the very least. You can cause a big, big wreck if you get something in your eye. You will just jump, and the last thing you want to do is have to ride like this. It's very uncomfortable. And that has happened to me, not necessarily without eye protection, but with eye protection. So trust me when I tell you that you want to wear something covering your eyes. But it is up to you. If you don't want to wear it, nobody's going to tell you anything. Or nobody should tell you anything, at least. I don't know. I don't think that anybody is, entitled to tell you what you should or shouldn't wear. Same thing as to what you should or should not do to your bike. Because they're not paying for the stuff. If you're paying for your bike, you should be able to add or take out of your bike whatever you want. It's your bike. If you're paying for your gear, you can wear whatever gear you want. It's up to you. Now, obviously, you have those people that tell you, well, you know what? I wear my chaps every time I ride. I wear my jacket, my vest, helmet. You have to wear a helmet every time. I think you should assess the situation. I think you should be mindful of what you do and see how bad is the area where you live. Try to do a little bit of research, about motorcycle accidents where you are. See how mindful people are of motorcycles. Because let's be honest, here in the U.S., most people are expecting to see a car at every corner, not necessarily a bike. So it's kind of hard to expect that. That for one. For two, I'm yet having to be told what to wear in person. Of course, online you always have those people that they tell you, yeah, you should at least wear a helmet every time, blah, 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 blah. If you don't want to wear a helmet and you live in a state that you're not required to wear a helmet, whether because you have insurance or because you just don't have to, do what you want. It's your life. Just keep in mind, if you have a family, keep that in the back of your mind. What can happen to your family after that, after something happened to you? Now, if you're okay with that, more power to you. If you're not, then ultimately get a helmet that you like or that you're comfortable with, and wear it. That's it. Now, when it comes to a vest, I have worn a vest, but at least here in Florida, most of the year is hot. So I don't always wear it when I go out. I'm just fine wearing a t-shirt, or once it gets colder and I'm capable of wearing a sweater, then yeah, during the day I just wear the vest, and then at night I'll just put my sweater on and maybe the vest on top, and I'm fine. I have rode in winter here in Florida. It gets about, I think the lowest it's been is 40, yeah, 40, 40, 45, something like that. And I have to say, the lowest I'm comfortable riding is probably 40 degrees. But I got my chaps, I got all my winter gear, and during winter, yeah, you bet your ass I will gear up. Not necessarily because of what can happen to me, but because of the cold. I still like to ride my bike year round. If you're not comfortable riding in the cold, it doesn't really matter what you're gonna wear. So people need to stop telling other people what to wear. And if anybody wants to bring up the case of that, well, it's not fair for those first responders to have to pick the pieces of your brain off the ground, or try to get you on the ambulance, whatever. Guess what? Those people chose that line of work. Much like soldiers, that all of them, they deserve great respect. However, the soldier that goes to the army or to the navy or whatever and ends up being deployed, that person chose to go there. Much respect, because that's their decision. But at the end of the day, I don't think anybody's entitled to come back, whether you're a first responder or whatever, and try to make me feel guilty because of what happened to you. Remember, you're choosing your outcome. Same thing if you ride without a gear and something happens to you, well, you chose that. So we have to be mindful, and we have to have some sort of responsibility, some sort of level of responsibility of accepting the effects of our actions. Now, so that's the most common thing I hear. Well, you know what? Poor first responders, they have to show up over there. And my thought is, no, I don't really care about the first responder. First responder is getting paid to do his job. He's doing that not for free, for one. For two, he's not doing it out of the kindness of his heart. He's doing it because that's his job. And for three, he chose to do that job. So you know what? At the end of the day, if you're a first responder, you got to get over it. If you're not a first responder and you're trying to use that as a crutch to tell other people what they should wear, buddy, you shouldn't be writing anything. You should be probably locked up in your house, not looking at anyone else that rides. And also, don't turn on the TV either, or internet, or the radio, or anything, because you may end up hearing about somebody not doing what you think is the law, or it should be the law, or what it is correct. And nobody cares to hear your opinion about what they should and shouldn't wear. You do yourself, let other people do themselves. Live and let live. So I just wanted to address those concerns, because I think that as of late, societies, we're becoming very, very entitled as we go. And I just don't think that it's right for anybody to tell anyone else what they should do, as long as they're not breaking the law. And obviously, if somebody's breaking the law, you shouldn't even stop and tell that person what they're doing, because that's just looking for confrontation. If you have a problem with what they're doing, call the cops. Let them handle it. You shouldn't really get in the middle of it. Why bring something up that is really not going to fit you at all whatsoever? I think that the most important thing is family. So, again, in my case, if I'm going to go, I don't know, probably further than 5 miles, yes, I definitely bring my helmet. If I'm going on the highway, you bet your ass I'm getting my helmet. That's the most important part that I have in my body. Everything else, well, you know what? Something may happen, but at least you have your noggin covered, and you know that you're not necessarily going to be spilling your brains on the ground. But don't do it for the first responders. Don't do it for anybody. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family if you decide to do it. If you decide to wear whatever you're going to wear, make your own choice. All right, well, I'd like to thank everybody for watching this video. I also like to thank everyone that has subscribed and that has watched my videos and that has liked my videos. If you do agree or disagree, please leave your opinion on the comments. I'm very, very interested to read it and understand it. I want to make clear the fact that I am honored to live in a country that has many heroes in it. Regardless if you're a first responder, if you're in the Army, if you're in the Marines, if you're in the Navy, no matter what you do, if you're a police officer, if you're a federal agent, if you're a teacher, to me you're a hero. So I don't want this video to seem like I'm criticizing any of them, because I'm not, and I do think that all of them do a great service to this country. And like I said, stay tuned. The next video is going to be a tutorial as to how to change your own oil. I'm going to be changing my oil on my Indian Scout. I think my friend Joe is going to be able to do his own oil change on his Honda Vulcan. So if he does it, I'm going to try to catch that also in video. So at least you guys have two different videos to look at as to how the bikes differ from one another, and what you can expect if you're trying to change your own oil on any bike, not necessarily just a Scout or or not a Scout. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.